And welcome everyone to another Community Starcraft event brought to you by Logan. This match is the Losers Bracket Finals from the SC24Life Silver and Bronze League Tournament. The match is going to be taking place on ocnLogan, and the match is between the yellow Zerg player SpeedySS, located in the bottom right of the map, and his Protoss opponent in the red in the top left. So this map, ocnLogan, has a pretty narrow entrance to the main, a decently sized entrance to the natural, and then a back door that can be used for attack or to take your third. The map is very wide open in the middle. There are sporadic things to break things up. However, large amounts of swarming units can do pretty well on this map. So obviously Lings. Ooh, a very forward pylon by Lougarou. It looks like he's going to be going for some sort of probably Forge First fast expand on this map. It's really quite common for Protoss against Zerg to do a Forge First fast expand. And remember, SpeedySS took his very first win in a game by 9 pooling. And I'd like to point out we're way past 9 and there's no pool. So it looks like we're going to see a little bit more standard game. Probably a 14, I would guess a 14 hatch, 14 pool, or 14 pool into some sort of hatch. I would really hope that. Anyway, Lougarou going with a very early scout. He's throwing down that forge. Look like he's going to be walling himself in here shortly. There goes the pool at 14, and I would really like to see a hatch following this up, because remember, Zerg players generally need to stay a base up on their opponents. So at least taking this base, and then I'd probably just start work on these rocks immediately and take this third and gear up for a little bit longer game. Looks like Lougarou really wanting to get this wall down immediately. There is a hole right there. That's interesting placement. What this will do, this will allow Lings to attack the cannon. The cannon does plug the hole. However, generally, especially against a player that's going to be going roaches, potentially, I usually want to put the cannons a little bit farther back and wall this off with something else, so that the cannon is far enough out of range that the roaches can't actually reach the cannon, but the cannon can reach all the roaches that are attacking the buildings. That's the ideal goal. We do have the expansion going down. Once again, he sees the Forge Fast. Well, he doesn't see Forge Fast expand. He sees wall off, and he sees no nexus here, so he knows that Lougarou is attempting to finish all this up. He does have a scout. It looks like he tried to get in, and because the wall was closed, he actually yeah, he's trying to get in, and because the path is closed, the AI freaks out. Too bad there's no layer up yet. Ooh, interesting. Going for a Cybercore really early, and instead of throwing down that early Nexus, we really would like to see a Nexus come down a little bit more earlier. He does have a little bit of Chrono Boost saved up as well, and he does have gas, so it's a little bit different than your more common Forge Fast Expand, where you go Forge and then literally the next thing you build is a Nexus. However, this is a little bit easier to defend with because you'll have ranged units almost immediately because of the Cybercore going down at almost the right time and enough gas to actually use Warp Gate. There are no units of Lougarou's outside of the map. Outside of the map, outside of his base, which means that there's no proxy pylon. There's nothing here. I like the Overlord placement from SpeedySS. You get to see some areas of the map. We do have the gas down already and a Roach Warren for SpeedySS. The army count is identical. The worker count is almost identical. We'll see where this goes. I would actually really like for SpeedySS to take another base immediately. Because there's absolutely no way that Lougarou can even move out onto the map at this point in time. Lougarou is checking his base all the time. Remember also last time SpeedySS took a game off of Cricket and took Cricket out of the tournament with some Nidus Worm play, so I would not be surprised to see this lair go into some sort of Nidus Worm. And especially with these Overlords planted all over. It looks like, however, Lougarou's got pretty decent vision of his base. He's spreading things out, potentially having, watched all the previous replays. And now Lougarou is continuing to produce out of 2 Nexi. The Queen with a little bit of energy. Could be doing these injects a little bit better. However, with the second hatchery, it's not quite as critical. And what in the world do we have? Evo Chamber and Spine Crawler, preventing Zealots from getting up close and personal. Actually, it's just reducing surface area is actually all this is doing. There's not preventing any sort of access into the main, so a run by could still happen. Some stalkers could shoot their way up. Actually, an Immortal could waddle their way quite well. And a Baneling Nest. Baneling Nest, he doesn't quite have enough gas right now to utilize a Baneling Nest, but with the second gas going down, he should be mining from that soon. Would really like to see a Baneling bust. Those are always quite exciting. Robo Bay, Robotics Facility going down, and some range units. I'd like to point out that every unit that Lougarou has made at this point, other than those first two Zealots, have been range units because he's shooting from behind a wall. He needs to be able to do damage without taking damage. So he is SpeedySS is spreading the creep. Creep spread is actually very important. A lot of Zerg players don't realize this. Zerg units get a speed bonus on the creep. Some of them more so than others. Speedlings, they're fast off creep, but they're really fast on creep. Is this? He's gonna take. Interesting. Okay, so SpeedySS taking his opponent's fourth base for some sort of pressure at some point. It'll be interesting to see how this one works out. So army size, Lougarou does have the bigger army size right now. He does have a larger worker count. I wonder if Lougarou is going to actually go and scout this base here off the side. He sees some lings. I wonder if he suspects anything. I wonder if his spider sense is going off, saying, you know what, I should probably check this. Some more lings being added. I would suspect we'd see a Baneling bust here in just a few moments. Would you have a Hydra Den done? And where is... I really want to see... there's still no Nidus Network going down. However, with the Hydralisk Den and a Roach Warren, I'm surprised we're not seeing a little bit more upgrades. We do have +1 Carapace, which is pretty important. It does make Zerglings last for more than 2 hits against Zealots, so that's actually quite important to notice. We do have a lot of Zealots back here behind the wall, though. I really want Lougarou to spot this. Anytime you take an expansion that's hard to protect, aka one that's cross-map and in the direct shadow of your opponent, it's a little bit hard to protect, and it's a little bit risky. The potential payoffs there are interesting. I don't really know what the benefit of this base is over, let's say, this base in terms of strategic stuff, unless he needs creep spread really far forward for some reason really soon. That's about the only thing that I could think of at this point in time. The army supply is pretty much equalized. The income tab does show that Lougarou has quite a bit more supply than his opponent. We do have some Hydras making their way out. We do have +1 weapons from Lougarou on their way as well. This is a pretty sizable force. Remember, the army size is actually pretty close to the same. The difference is actually in workers. But that worker supply lead will actually be more effective and continue to increase the lead of the army over time. At this point in time in the game, I would like to see Lougarou start taking down these backdoor rocks, start securing his third, and start scouting around a little bit better. We do have an observer out front, but he has no idea that there's another base sitting right here. The reinforcement path here will be quite quick. And it looks like we do have the Nidus Network going down. So Lougarou needs to be really careful watching his entire base. Does he know? He does not know that there's an Overlord back here. Interesting. So he's got the rest of his base pretty locked down. However, this one area, there could totally be a Nidus Swarm here. And then an associated bust at the front. Also, I like how SpeedySS is watching all of the various bases. He does now know that there's a base here. I wonder if he will continue. Ooh, Thermal Lance going down. He's going to be getting Colossi. Seeing all those Zerglings. He is continuing to Chrono Boost workers. And now, where is the Nidus Swarm? They're all loaded up. Where's it gonna go down? I'm assuming it's gonna happen right here. There's gotta be. He's gonna be throwing down 2 pylons. He still cannot see. He will see. He should see this and react immediately. There's an attack up at the front. He needs to be moving all these units right now to the back. He's distracted by the attack at the front and is not getting this back. This is going to complete. There's nothing that he's going to be able to do about it. Lougarou's not paying attention to the back. There's going to be a flood of units right into the back of his base. Will he be able to defend it? His army is larger. is actually not larger at this point in time. Lougarou really needs to fall back. He is now retreating. He's pulling all of his probes. And let's see, can SpeedySS defend this? Or is Lougarou going to be able to push these back? This backdoor rock, that's secondary, not of great importance. This Nexus looks like it's not going to go down. The force field is actually preventing the Zealots from doing much damage at all. With the Stalkers here, they're doing well, but the Concave actually going to the Zerg, and the Hydralisk with such high DPS are going towards the trade is actually going to the Zerg player. Lougarou really needs to continue producing. He does have a Colossi almost out. He has 2 of them. This should help out substantially if he can keep them alive. The Zealots up here at the front tanking damage. The Colossi needs to fall back. Needs to fall back and meet. It's going to get surrounded, and it's going to be dead almost as soon as it walks out. If there's this other one, there was another one. Where did the other Colossi go? Where did the other Colossi go? It's still in production. It's not on its way yet. Lougarou, he still has a mining base. He does still have the worker advantage. He's actually down in workers at this point, and it looks like Lougarou really needs to get this Colossi out. It's not going to finish, actually. The Colossi goes down. All of its production is camped. He needs to throw down some pylons and throw down some cannons immediately. So there goes the pylon. There goes some more cannons. He can pull his way out of this, I think. He's more concentrated down here, but not until these cannons get finished. If these cannons don't finish, there's nothing much that Lougarou can do. He's chrono boosting out Zealots. That cannon should have been canceled. It's unfortunately not going to be. And it looks like Lougarou deciding there's not much that he can do, and SpeedySS is going to take the victory. So congratulations to SpeedySS for the exciting game. Nidus Worm seemed to be a little bit of a specialty, and our condolences go out to Lougarou. An excellent fight. But the atypical play of SpeedySS catching him off guard, and it looks like SpeedySS is going to be going to